To handcraft over 900 hours a vehicle of this level of quality and scale, you need people, you need process, and you need parts. But it's the passion that gives you the 10x multiplier. That's our unfair advantage. Standing up a brand new factory is extremely difficult to do. In the beginning, you have a lot of problems. People problems, process problems, and parts problems. But we were coming right out of COVID and supply chain. You can't even get the parts. And if you did get the parts, maybe they were late. Or maybe you did get the parts and they're on time, but they're not good quality. Asif is my coach and mentor and friend. I've always looked up to him in business, and he's an amazing problem solver. And I didn't want to have to come to him and tell him I couldn't do it, but I needed his help. And I think I needed someone from the outside coming in with a different perspective and fresh set of eyes to be able to bring me back down to reality that this is a game.
One of my favorite is, Kobe, right? Got all of his rings over here, right? Because it's the Mamba mentality, right? Which reminds me a lot of you, right? What is it all about? It's about mastering your craft. It's about getting better. You didn't take the first version of your vehicle and we're like, okay, hey, it is what it is. Mastering your craft and putting in the time and energy and effort to think, the amount of hours that you must have put in to just dream of like, okay, V2, and okay, how would that even be possible? And then V3, and just like constantly be evolving, right? It's only the greats that do that, right?
This is John. John is our VP of Operations. He didn't just change the culture, he changed everything. Asif's early reaction to bringing John in to run operations was met with skepticism because he didn't have that long automotive deep experience.
We were like, oh goodness, like this guy's got no experience. He's got no automotive experience.
So I started my career as a general laborer and finished my construction career as a senior superintendent running $350 million projects.
We hired a lot of people who had these long automotive resumes. Almost every single one of them failed. To bring somebody on in an early stage automotive company, you need somebody who's a hands-on problem solver. They're close to the action, they're granular, and they're willing to touch it. I found that the longer people have been around, they didn't want to get on their hands and knees. They didn't want to have to solve all the nitty-gritty problems. But if you think about what you're doing in the early stages, that's what you need. You need a leader who's going to lead by example. They're not afraid to get their hands dirty. They're not afraid to lay on the ground and crawl around with a flashlight and be with their team.
Well, when I met Cho the first time, it was not actually through business. We're both big boating enthusiasts. I actually sold him a boat. We kind of established this friendship, which really ultimately turned into a mentorship, Cho mentoring me. As mine and Cho's relationship continued to grow, he had reached out to me about a potential opportunity with the company.
So I brought John here to the factory for the very first time. What I had hoped would happen started happening, which is it grows on you. And he just kept thinking about it, talking about it, and every conversation we would have, we would talk more and more about the opportunity until one day it presented itself.
When I joined Vintage, I came into a very small team and a lack of processes across the board. One of the things I really loved about Cho was he was relentless when it came to problem solving. When I first got here, probably about 80 to 85% of the team were the wrong people. The initial goals was getting the right people on the team and the wrong people off the team.
We have a very simple test. It's the very, very first test when we are recruiting a new player for our team. Test number one is that when we walk you through the factory, if you are not looking around, just drooling and absolutely in love with what it is we build, you're in the wrong place. And just about everybody that we walk through here, they have that drive, that passion, and that obsession. And that to me is number one.
And what we tell everyone is it's going to be the hardest thing you've ever done in your life, and we're not lying to them. Getting them to truly understand the mentality that we all share and what it is required to truly be successful in this company.
Bringing John from outside was one of the best moves that I think Cho has ever made, besides obviously launching the business. John's experience and insight and his ability to just learn and deliver and execute, combined with Cho's vision to be able to create the output of the vehicles at the high quality that he's done, has been remarkable.
And if you look at the faces of people that work here, You can see the look of intensity, passion, detail. These guys, they love what they do. And when you build a handcrafted product, 900 hours of art, you have to love it.
One of the key mentalities we have in this company is that everybody's back looks the same at the end of the day. It doesn't matter what your job title is, everybody in the building has one duty, and that is to solve problems. Our company standards are very high because our customers' expectations are very high. Every single person has to do their job exactly right for us to truly deliver a perfect quality product. The quality of the vehicles that we build today is very, very good. It is truly a world-class quality product.
Each morning, there's a team kickoff at 6:30 a.m., and we go through numbers. We're a very data-driven organization, and we are big believers in what gets measured gets improved. And our philosophy is very simple. We walk in this door and the lights turn on, we're gonna make it better. And so each morning we kick off with the review of people, process, and parts for every single vehicle. We have a final inspection the night before, we review the numbers the very next morning.
Going to test drive and photo shoot, we have 3346 Seafoam Poly.
Exterior assembly is going to be working on 3348 today.
We had 4 incidental, 4 from production.
And the objective of those meetings is to define really what did we do well and what did we not do well, and how can we perform better tomorrow. It's like a team going and playing a football game and coming back and watching the film to figure out how can we fix that problem or run that play differently tomorrow to make sure that we win the game tomorrow or next week.
You see a defect, raise it up, bring it to everyone's attention, and we'll get it sorted. My name's Tom Triggs. My responsibility is all of the quality on all the vehicles. Have that daily stand-up at 6:45, and then we head straight into reviewing those defects and working on corrective actions. We make sure that no defects are shipped to the customer, whether it's the smallest speck of dust or a bolt that's loose, nothing leaves this factory.
Again, if you're on the station and you're putting the tail light on and you're like, oh, that looks a little bit funny, please raise that, please escalate that, communicate that to the team.
Every part of the entire process is documented into steps, standard operating procedures. We're looking for perfect quality, and we're looking for on time. From the very first step, which is the chassis upfitting, all the way through final inspection and delivery prep, everything has a takt time, and it has standard operating procedures and a specification. And we do this over and over every single day. If you hire great people, they want to do a great job. But if you don't spell out exactly what good looks like, then everyone has a different definition. In the beginning, what I would find is that if you don't give someone an exact torque spec, one day is too tight, one day is too loose. Either way is a problem. But if you give them exact spec of how tight it has to be, then they know what it should be. Simple things like that, multiplied by hundreds and thousands of steps clearly defined, allows you to, instead of play the guessing game or eyeball or memory and feel like most places, we have a very clear definition which allows our people to win. And your people, typically, they want to win. The entire vehicle is handcrafted. 900 hours of art. We don't like to call it labor. When I think of labor, I think of lifting heavy cinder blocks on the side of the road. This right here is craftsmanship, obsession. We like to think of our people as artists. If you know artists, they're never satisfied with their own work.
I mean, if you skip this part, nobody would even notice that.
No, nobody would ever look in these areas. But that's kind of why I do it, just to, like I said, to ensure that nobody would ever look in these spots before and see something. You'd never want that.
So what I do is I detail. We are the last set of hands to absolutely touch the vehicle before it ships to the customer. We spend 8 hours and we have 3 detailers. It's very meticulous work. So we have kind of 3 different stages throughout the day. We protect the car, we buff and polish the car, and then after that, we clean the car. I started with fast food. I was a dishwasher. That's kind of where I learned my work ethic from. After that, I found myself at a local boat shop company. I started detailing boats while I was prepping pontoons for the boat show. I jumped to doing cars. When I worked with the local company, we actually did subcontracting here, and that's kind of where I got the itch to do it. I was like, man, these cars are really awesome. This is a completely different level of perfection, of judgment. I completely was blown away by just the level of perfection that was here. There's a question I always ask myself, and it's how can I make it better? And as a detailer, you ask yourself every single day, because yeah, some people will say, yeah, the car looks really good, but in my eyes, it could be better. We know we're doing a good job when we have low hits. The hits are, it's a grading system, and that is each individual defect. We always want to achieve perfection, which is 100%, and that means 0 defects for us.
That's a good question. When I painted my first car, 17, I was still in high school. I was very proud of it because I got to sand it, polish it, did the whole finish. That was the very first one. It was a Ford Mustang. Been in the industry for 14, 15 years. One of the guys from PPG approached me and asked me if I wanted to be part of their team. Instantly said yes, because I have always used PPG products from the day I picked up the first gun and worked them for 17 years. I decided to leave PPG and come work for Vintage. That's a very minor imperfection. No one's gonna see it, but we do. And we obviously want the customer to get the best product ever, so want to make sure we'll take care of that.
My name is Brian Valadares. I'm the paint facility plant manager. I oversee every single step from the moment the build gets from assembly all the way until the final detail. There's no machining it, there's nothing going on except for human beings actually doing block by hand so we can get that perfect finish at the end of the day. And after that, it moves to a different station. It goes into the paint station where the magic happens.
My name is Seth Powell. I am the production supervisor for parts processing. Basically control everything going in and out to the line, everything that needs to be modified to make sure it fits our vehicles properly. We do a lot of really meticulous type of work where it's very intricate, it's very detailed, and you have to have a steady hand. There's a lot of leather trimming involved, there's paint involved, there's the fitment of leather and paint components together that don't normally fit together, so we have to make that stuff fit and look up to the standard of vintage quality.
When I first started, I was hired originally as the delivery driver. I would shuttle all the vehicles back and forth from here to the paint facility and help out with warehouse and prepping all the kits and everything for all the guys here. I ended up getting an opportunity to work on the incoming inspection as team lead. Our goal is to give everything perfect and on time to the customers. We want to make sure we can commit to when they're expecting to have it, and we want to make sure it's in 100% quality.
After the vehicle is assembled, it goes through several processes of inspection and validation. It gets in alignment. Everything safety-wise is 100% guaranteed before any of us even get in the vehicle. We have a lot of documentation throughout our entire process. If it were by memory and feel, we wouldn't be where we are today.
You've been able to build an army of 160 people that are unanimously fighting and rowing in the same direction and solving the problems and ultimately building the world's most desirable vintage car brand. Our commitment to perfection starts many months before we actually start building the vehicle. It starts with the very first phone call.